Okay, Monday Night Football, we have the Arizona Cardinals at 2-5. They're on a 5-game losing streak, heading to Dallas to play the Dallas Cowboys, who are 3-4-1. I'm wearing my AC/DC hat because I think both of these teams, they need to get fired up, man. Like, I remember I got to go up on stage and sing Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap with Brian Johnson. The thrill of my life, but it charged me up, and that's what these two teams need. They need to start their seasons right now because their backs are against the wall. This Top of Mind is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season's in full swing, and whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready, the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game. Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. Okay, Monday Night Football, it's the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals, who have lost 5 straight games, heading to Dallas to play the Dallas Cowboys, who are 3-4-1, and they're coming off a tough loss at the hands of the Denver Broncos. It was ugly. Both of these coaches, head coach Brian Schottenheimer, Jonathan Gannon, know their teams need a win in the worst way. And when you're losing, when you're struggling, I think you do things to jumpstart your team. And I think both of these teams are going to make some changes in their scheme, and I think they're going to make some changes in their lineup to get some people's attention. Coach Schottenheimer came out and said he was not happy. They got gashed on defense, they couldn't protect Dak Prescott, and they got beat up on both sides of the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some changes in the lineup on both sides of the ball for the Cowboys. And head coach Jonathan Gannon, he's coming off a bye week with his Arizona Cardinals. They needed to get reset. They needed to get rejuvenated physically, mentally, and emotionally, because they have lost 5 gut-wrenching games in a row, and it's tough. And I got a feeling there's a lot of change that could happen in this Arizona lineup. I think they have a quarterback controversy. They may not want to say it, but I think Jacoby Brissett has outperformed Kyler Murray. They're averaging 25 points a game the last 2 weeks. That's why I think Jacoby Brissett is starting. They cut their feature back, Michael Carter. Hell, the guy had 34 carries. They let him go. They got a new feature back in Bam Knight. And there's a chance Garrett Williams, their star corner, could be available on Monday night. And that's a game changer for this defense. And there's a chance Walter Nolan, their first-round draft choice, big defensive tackle from Mississippi, might play. So I think there's some changes in the lineup to spark this Arizona football team coming off the bye. The Dallas Cowboys have had a roller coaster season. They haven't won 2 games in a row. They haven't lost 2 games in a row. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. Mostly down on defense, but they've been really up on offense. And Arizona, hell's bells, they started off 2-0. They were all excited. And they have been screaming down, man, on this roller coaster for the last 5 weeks. They got to put a stop to this. The Cardinals are the 3rd team ever to lose 5 straight games by 4 points or less. Hell, they got beat on 3 walk-off field goals in 3 weeks in a row, Jake. Wouldn't that break your heart? Look at this. This is how close Arizona is. Can you imagine being 2-0 and getting beat on the last-second field goal, 16-15 by the 49ers? Then they get beat on the last-second field goal by the Seattle Seahawks, 23-20. Then they get beat on the last-second field goal by the Tennessee Titans, 22-21. Then they go down to Indianapolis and play the best team in the NFL. They got the ball at the 9-yard line on 4th down. They can't get it in on 4 tries. And then last week against Green Bay, it's 27-23. They're driving for the winning touchdown, and Micah Parsons ends their day. They've been this close to being 7-0. That's the National Football League. And I think this hat, okay, this hat should represent what I expect from the Arizona Cardinals. Jumpstart at quarterback with Jacoby Brissett. Let's hope we get a couple injured guys back. Hopefully off the bye, we become emotionally rested, and we get a chance to show the world on national television what the Arizona Cardinals are made of. Let's go. The Cowboys are the most lopsided team in the NFL that I think I've ever seen. I mean, they're really good on offense. They're 2nd in the league in scoring, 2nd in the league in total offense. They're number 1 in the NFL in pass offense, but they're really bad on defense. Arizona has mediocre statistics, but there's one statistic that you guys got to know, and it's unbelievable. Do you know that Arizona in the first 3 quarters is outscoring their opponent 124 to 78? That's a plus 46 differential. But in the fourth quarter, they're getting outscored 76 to 29, minus 47 in the fourth quarter. So the theme has to be finish. When this game gets in the fourth quarter, keep reminding yourself of that stat. Arizona, let's freaking go, man. Let's finish the game with authority. And I know that's what Jonathan Gannon has been preaching probably for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Dallas is 3-0 against teams that are under 500. But when they play teams that are 500 or better, they're 0-4-1. And the Cowboys, they got to get their act together. They should be favored in this game, and they are. And then they're going to be favored next week when they play on the road against the Raiders. But after that, they got to play some really good teams. They got the 6-2 Eagles, the 5-2 Chiefs, the 5-2 Lions, and the 5-3 Chargers. So they better make do. You know what I'm saying? You know, Arizona, this is supposed to be a breakout year. That's what everybody was saying back in the preseason. All of us podcasters and geniuses behind the mic. Hell's bells. Jonathan Gannon was going into his 3rd year. They won 4 games his first year. Then they won 8. Then they went out and bolstered their defense. They drafted Walter Nolan, a big defensive tackle. They got Josh Sweat. They even got Calais Campbell to come back. It was supposed to be a breakout year. Kyler Murray's in his 3rd year. We got Marvin Harrison in his 2nd year. Well, it hadn't happened. And right now, the Arizona Cardinals are on a 5-game losing streak. You could say they're the most disappointing team in football. Take a look at the standings in both divisions. In the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals are in deep trouble. If they don't win tonight, you can pretty much say goodnight. The Seattle Seahawks and the Rams are both 5-2. San Francisco's 5-3, and Arizona's bringing up the rear at 2-5. And in the NFC East, it's all Philadelphia right now. They're 6-2. They found their passing game, and the Dallas Cowboys are 3-4-1. Both Washington at 3-5 and the Giants at 2-6. Struggling, man. The Dallas Cowboys are 2nd in the NFL in penalties, and it's really hurt them. They have got to eliminate the penalties to have a chance to hover around, hang around, and perhaps sneak into playoffs. They have 67 penalties, man, for 555 yards. 29 on the offense, 25 on the defense, and 13 in the kicking game. And they have had too many false starts. They had 5, I think, last week against the Denver Broncos. 1 on the 1-yard line going in for a touchdown, and they had to settle for a field goal. God, I hate false starts. Another thing to look at in this game tonight is the Cowboys are really good at home, especially on offense. They're 2-0-1. They average 41.3 points per game at home and 441 yards. That's number 1 in the NFL. I think these guys like playing in that big dome, man. I would. Arizona's just 5-15 on the road. They have struggled under head coach Jonathan Gannon. On Monday Night Football, Dak Prescott, you know he loves the lights. He's 5-1 as a starting quarterback on Monday Night Football, though Dallas is 0-1-1 in prime time this year. Arizona won their last Monday Night Football game last year. They beat Malasek's Chargers 17-15. You know, this is a funny series. The Dallas Cowboys have really struggled against Arizona. Arizona's won 7 out of the last 8 meetings. They've won the last 3 meetings in Arlington, so they're not afraid of going on the road. Hell, Kyler Murray was 42-0 as a high school quarterback down the street at Allen High School. He won 3 state championships. Maybe they should play Kyler Murray. I don't know. The last time these teams met was week 3 in 2023 at Arizona early in the season. Josh Dobbs, that quarterback for Arizona, shredded Dallas 28-16. Dak Prescott got sacked a couple times early. Arizona got a big lead and hung on. A couple cool things to remember about Dak Prescott: 45 wins, 18 losses, and a tie at home. I love seeing how quarterbacks play after a loss. And Dak Prescott is 31-14-1 after a loss. That says a lot about his mental toughness, and I think Prescott's going to be on the screws on Monday night. When you look at the Arizona quarterback situation, you got to study the numbers. I know Kyler Murray, he's 38-48, one tie as a starter. He's taken Arizona to the playoffs one time. They got beat 34-11 a few years ago by the Rams in a wild card game. But when you look at the performance this year of Murray and Brissett, they're averaging 20.6 points a game with Kyler Murray. They're averaging 25 points a game with Jacoby Brissett. And Brissett played against two top 10 scoring defenses, Green Bay and Indianapolis. Passing yards, Murray, 186 yards a game, Jacoby Brissett, 300. And the football team moves the ball better with Brissett under center. 288 yards a game with Murray, 385 for Jacoby Brissett. So you got to be honest. There is a little bit of a controversy, and if Jacoby Brissett shreds this struggling Dallas Cowboy defense, it's going to really make a case for him to remain a starting quarterback. When you look at these two triggers, Dak Prescott has again proven he's one of the most prolific passers in the NFL. Statistically, 70% complete, almost 2,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's 5th in the league in completion percentage, 3rd in the league in yards, and he's also number 1 with 204 completions, and he leads the NFL with 290 attempts. What I love the most is his tight window accuracy. There is a stat out there, and I get access to these stats because I just sit in here and crunch numbers all day and watch tape. Prescott has completed 20% of his throws in tight windows. That's 1 yard or less of separation. And it's not really even close over the last couple years. Who's the most daring, confident, tight window passer? It's Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. He also has some of the best freaking wideouts you will see. The addition of Pickens, CeeDee Lamb's healthy again, and Ferguson, their tight end, he's got over 50 grabs as well. Don't go to sleep on Jacoby Brissett. This guy is dangerous. He's very tough and athletic. In just 2 games, 599 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. He's got Arizona on the move. I think both coaches are in desperation mode. Think about it. If you're Jonathan Gannon and you got a 4th down situation, go for it. We got to score, man, because you know Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys have the potential to put numbers up. I think this is going to be a go-for-it situation. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw some trickery in the kicking game from Arizona. And if you're Brian Schottenheimer, all you got to do is go back to last week's game in Denver. It's 4th and 4. You're on your own 45-yard line. You're down 30-17. He chose to punt. He trusted his defense. Bam, 37-17, game over. I think Brian's going to go for it, take some aggressive shots. He's going to do everything he can to keep the ball in Prescott's hands. If they have to outscore people to win, he's going to really go all out to do that with his decision making. Finally, we have 2 very good kickers in the game. I think the best kicker I've ever seen is Brandon Aubrey of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, this guy's 29 out of 32 from over 50 yards. I've been on teams where we didn't even let our kicker try a kick over 50 yards. Hell, if you miss a 52-yarder, you give them the ball at the 42-yard line, Jake. You guys know the risk involved? But with Aubrey, holy shit, he's like Mr. Automatic. And this kicker for the Cardinals, Chris Ryland, he's had a nice year as well. 13 for 15 on field goals, 16 for 16 on PATs. And there are some injuries, some really important things to look out for. For the Arizona Cardinals, Garrett Williams, if he plays, if he's healthy, that is a significant change of scheme for Arizona. He can play outside. He can play the nickel position. He allows them to play a lot more man-to-man and free up Budda Baker. Garrett Williams, before you do anything, see if he's active. And then Walter Nolan. Where the hell has he been, Walter? He hurt his calf in training camp. He's a number 1 pick. He's supposed to go in there and raise hell. So guys like Josh Sweat and Baron Browning can get off on the outside. I think he might play. B.J. Ojulari, he's coming back, but not this week. Outside linebacker, another pass rusher. Kyler Murray, his foot, is he active? If he is, there could be some plays for Kyler Murray in this game to use his legs against this struggling Cowboy defense. And then DeMercado, the running back, he had an ankle. He was inactive last week against the Green Bay Packers. DeMercado, okay? You don't know who the Arizona Cardinals running backs are, do you? I bet you don't, because I don't. I'm just learning who DeMercado is. Now, for the Dallas Cowboys, I have never seen safeties get hurt like they get hurt in the Dallas football team this year. Donovan Wilson, he might play. He's got shoulder issues. He's got a lot of issues with his body. Number 6, Donovan Wilson, we need him to play if you're a Cowboy. Thomas, number 2, the other safety. He had migraines the last couple weeks. We don't know what his status is. And then Elijah Clark, who started at safety last week, I believe he's out. And then if you throw in Hooker, who is their opening day starter at safety, that's your top 4 safeties. So I would do a lot of due diligence on Donovan Wilson and 1J Thomas, see if those guys are playing. Because if they aren't, advantage Arizona. They are going to welcome back Cooper Beebe. I believe Beebe will be the center. He's missed the last 6 weeks. It'll be good to have him back in the pivot. And linebacker Jack Sanborn, third leading tackler who came over from the Bears, looks like he's out. Let's go. Let's get into this matchup. We have 2 teams that desperately need a win. This offense-defense matchup is brought to you by Fox 1. On Fox 1, you can stream your favorite live sports. So you never miss those "did you see that" moment? That means Fox NFL Sundays are now on Fox 1. It's NFL Sundays, all streaming live, the way it was meant to be watched. It's also the best way to stay locked in on your action. Whether you're sweating your fantasy matchup, tracking a parlay, or just riding the chaos live as it happens. I can't stand watching things on delay. I gotta see it live. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox 1 for complete terms and conditions. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys offense against this Arizona defense. You're going to get a chance to see one of the best, if not the best, offense in football. This Cowboy offense is complete, man. They're athletic up front on the offensive line. They've got gifted receivers. And Javonte Williams, 1 year, $3 million contract. He has done things at the running back position that the Cowboys haven't seen in some time. This is a balanced offense with a veteran quarterback in the perfect indoor conditions. These guys are really good at home. When I look at the Cowboys, I think they got to play a perfect game on offense. I think they have the coaches and the players to play even better than the numbers show. And the numbers show a lot of great things. They got to eliminate the penalties. I've said that already. In particular, the pre-snap penalties. You can't jump off sides on the 1-yard line and expect to win a football game on the road against the Denver Broncos. Some of the penalties are ridiculous. Holding calls, false starts, lining up off sides. Hell, I even saw CeeDee Lamb jump off sides. They got to concentrate. They got to wire in down after down after down if they want to get back in this race. Most importantly, they have to protect Dak Prescott. And they all got to do their part. Chips by the backs. Tight ends nudging on your way out. Offensive line, the help system. If you're uncovered, look for work. Kapow! You got to make sure we go all in on protecting Dak Prescott. Look at the numbers. When he gets hit and sacked like he did last week, the Cowboys aren't going to win. He got hit 8 times. He took 2 sacks. They ran a trap pass. He threw a sight adjustment to his left and got pulverized. Then they ran some tricky play-action pass where the center pulled around and did some crazy stuff. He threw a 28-yard pass. He got hit by a truck. I mean, they hit him hard, man. And they sacked him twice, and it affected the play of Prescott. When you take a good look at Prescott's numbers, when he's been sacked 2 or more times this year, he's thrown 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. But if you look at the games where he has only been sacked 1 time or less, guess what? 13 touchdowns, no picks. And I used to say this a lot as a coach. You know, hey, we only got sacked 1 time today. Bullshit. The guy got hit 12 times. So you raise hell on the sidelines, you raise hell in the meeting room, you raise hell on the practice field until the protection is at an elite level. That's what Prescott needs, and if he gets it, you better look out because they can move the ball and thrash anybody. The run game of the Dallas Cowboys might be the biggest surprise. I mean, they got a lot of young guys. I know they're high picks on the offensive line, but who's the running back? Everybody said, who's the running back? I don't know why they let Rico Dowdle out of here in the first place. He had 1,000 yards last year, and if Carolina just gives him the ball, he might break an NFL record. That's for another day. They signed Javonte Williams, the ex-Denver Bronco. He had a major injury in Denver. This guy is on a mission. And you talk about numbers. Javonte Williams, 124 carries, 635 yards, 8 touchdowns in 7 games. And he's caught 24 passes. The last Cowboy running back to catch 24 passes, run for 635, and 8 touchdowns in the first 7 games. You know what his name was, Jake?
Who?
Emmitt Smith, man. 1995 from right here at the University of Florida. So if you're a Cowboy fan, get a Javonte Williams jersey. He has really helped the Cowboys legitimize the running game. And it has set up some beautiful play-action passes for Prescott. My God, the numbers in this play-action offense are awesome. They're running play-action off the duo. They're running trap pass off the one-back power play. They're moving the pocket with Prescott. Their play-action pass offense, I'm making cut-ups of it right now. So when I come back and coach, and I'll be back, it might be a Jones Junior high, but I'll be back, I'm going to run some of these exact plays. And I'm going to say, look what Prescott does, we want to do this. 84% complete, man, and a 137 QBR on play-action passes. That's phenomenal. And you know what? When you study Prescott, which I have because he's been on Gruden's QB class, coming out of Mississippi State, 10th year. Every year he's got over 100 QBR in play action. He's a great ball handler. He's willing to turn his back to the defense. I'm not talking about these bullshit RPO bubble passes. I'm talking about turning your back to the defense, extending the ball, trusting your protection, setting up, and having the intent to throw the ball down the field to these great receivers. It's a lovely thing. 30% of the Dallas Cowboy passing game are some form of play-action passes, and I think that's a big reason why they're on top of the league throwing the football. The Cowboys use 11 personnel almost 70% of the time, which is pretty high above the league average. What is 11 personnel, Clay? How many backs?
1.
Jake, how many tight ends?
1.
Therefore, how many receivers, Clay?
3.
That's right. And wouldn't you play 3 receivers at a time if you had George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and you had about 5 other guys that are badasses? I mean, they got Kevontae Turbin, Jalen Tolbert, and they got this kid out of Southeast Missouri named Flournoy. They're all badasses, man. Play 3 at a time. Hell, if I didn't have Jake Ferguson, I might play 10 personnel. That's 1 back and how many tight ends?
0.
How many receivers would that be?
4.
Don't be surprised. But they got Jake Ferguson, another great receiving tight end, but they're using 11 personnel with Javonte Williams as the back. And I'm convinced Dak can walk up there in a trips formation, and if it's cover 2, they're doubling Pickens, they're doubling CD, they'll hand the ball to Javonte Williams, and he'll bam, right down your throat. If you play a single high defense, you load the box, God help you. Good luck against Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. They can kill you. It's a really well-orchestrated offense. They average 7 yards per play in 11 personnel. That's outstanding. And they use that 3-letter thing I love, RCE. Prescott has a lot of freedom. When he recognizes a matchup, he'll communicate, whether verbally or non-verbally, and they'll execute at a high level. It's fun to watch. I can't wait to see the Cowboys at home where they average 41 points a game. The offense has to carry the team. We've said that. We've got to keep maintaining that thought throughout the game. They've scored in 20 straight quarters. That's how consistent they have been. You know, in the NFL, there are 4 players with 40 catches and 6 touchdowns or more. Think about it. 4 players that have 40 or more catches and 6 or more touchdowns. 2 of them are on Dallas. Which 2 are they, Clay?
Pickens and Lamb.
You would think so. One of them is Pickens. The other one is Jake Ferguson. He's got 51 grabs and 6 touchdowns. Remember, CeeDee Lamb's missed a few games. So just think about the firepower that they have. I bet it keeps Arizona's defensive coordinator, Nick Rawls, up at night. Let's talk about this Arizona Cardinal defense. You know, Their statistics aren't great. They're not bad. They're kind of down the middle. But the biggest thing they got to do better is close games out. Fourth quarter. And I know that's a big issue with this defensive coaching staff and all of these defensive players. Who do we trust in the fourth quarter pass rush? And if we can't get there with 4, should we consider more blitzing? But when you look at the fourth quarter pass rush, we don't want to point fingers, right? But what did Micah Parsons do a couple weeks to Arizona in the fourth quarter? Kaboom! He ended their day. What did Charles Haley do for the Dallas Cowboys when Aikman and Irvin and all the guys got a big lead? Kapow! You guys know what I'm saying, yes? What do you think Chris Jones just got paid for in Kansas City? You got to have closers in the fourth quarter on your defense. Right now, Josh Sweat, the ex-Philadelphia Eagle, he's the guy they're counting on to rush off the right side. Calais Campbell, he's the guy they got to count on the inside. They've been using 2 guys coming off the other side. Baron Browning and number 25, Zaven Collins. They need those guys to raise hell. And then these inside guys over here, where in the heck is my man, Darius Robinson, first-round pick out of Missouri? I haven't felt him yet. Stills 55, maybe it's Walter Nolan. Bottom line is, when you get outscored like this in the fourth quarter, you got to take a good look at your fourth quarter pass rush and why we're not able to end the day. I mean, you can't be this kind of a defense where you go the whole season, in 7 games, they've given up 20 points in the first quarter. That tells you you have the guys you need to get it done. Do you guys agree or not, Jake?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you agree. But in the fourth quarter, you've given up 76 points. That's 10.9 points a game in the fourth quarter. That's 31st in the league. Only the Steelers have given up more points in the fourth quarter. So when we get to the fourth quarter tonight, everybody do this with their hands. Let's go, Arizona. Close the deal, man. If they don't close the deal, there's going to have to be more changes made. Arizona only blitzes 20% of the time. This is the fewest amount of blitzes in the NFL. A lot of it might have to do with the injuries they've had in the secondary. I've told you, Garrett Williams is a very important guy. And not only do they not blitz much, they don't get much pressure. Right now, Arizona has a 4.1% sack rate. They're not getting to the quarterback enough. And if it wasn't for Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell, I wouldn't know if any of these guys are even on Arizona's pass rush unit. They're just not getting home enough, and it's really hurt this team, especially in obvious passing situations in the fourth quarter when you get tired. So when you think about this, if you don't get near Dak Prescott, and we've already said this team, they don't blitz, they play a lot of 3 safety looks at a time. They have Jalen Thompson, a hell of a kid playing in the nickel, number 34, but he is technically a safety. So you know they're going to play a lot of zone. They don't want to have him in there playing a lot of man-to-man against some of these crafty receivers that have 3-way goes, man. So when you play a lot of zone, you don't get a lot of pressure. Dak Prescott, he might open a case of whoop-ass, man. It might be a long day for you. They have got to hit Prescott. I told you that early. When he's been hit and sacked, he's not as effective, and Arizona's got to find a way to blitz more or get more pressure. That's why I think Nick Rawls, I'll be shocked if he doesn't heat up Prescott more than he has anybody else. The whole defense really has been set up around their 7-time Pro Bowl safety, Budda Baker, number 3. Whether you like football or love football, do yourself a favor and watch number 3. Just zoom in on him with your eyes for a few plays. Every single play is exactly the same. He never misses a snap. He's 100 miles an hour. He's totally invested in this defense, and he plays his ass off. He's a great communicator. He's doing a nice job. They try to determine the situation, the formation, the personnel grouping, where they think the ball is going. What do we call to get Budda Baker in position to make the most plays? And I think it's really important to keep an eye on that if you're the Dallas Cowboys. They are going to bring Budda Baker. If they bring anybody on a blitz, it's going to be number 3, and he's a hell of a primetime player. I love him. Last thing with Coach Rawls, he's a very young defensive coordinator, And I've been really impressed with the progress he's made year by year, the improvements in this Arizona defense. Yes, they have to address the fourth quarter, but he's got some stuff in his history that's pretty cool. Against Dallas in 2023, Arizona ran this amoeba defense, I called it. You know what an amoeba is? It's like an organism with no cells. I don't know what it is. But they had these guys just walking around. They had like 4 or 5 guys walking around the center, walking around here, walking around in the secondary. Boom, the ball be snapped. 3'd come over there, 1 come over there, and they confused Dallas a couple times early. I look for some confusion fronts from Coach Rawls against this young offensive line of the Cowboys because they have had some injuries. Cooper Beebe's been out 6 weeks. Let's do some things to screw up the young center who's just coming back. Who's the Mike? Shit, I don't know. It looked like an amoeba. All right, let's talk about the personnel matchups. The Dallas Cowboy offensive line, I give them credit. They're in the top 10 in every major category. They've only given up 10 sacks. The sack percentage, the pressure rate, they're in the top 10. And their yards per game rushing the football, they're all in the top 10 in every major category. The 4 guys from right guard to left tackle have all missed time. That's why they've done a hell of a job keeping things operating under these adverse circumstances. Tyler Guyton at left tackle, Tyler Smith at left guard, first-round draft choices. The left guard, Smith, is outstanding. He's a hell of a player. He can do a lot of different things. Guyton is getting confidence. He's on the rise. He's getting better in one-on-one pass protection. He can really recover, and when they help him, he's doing a pretty good job. It's just when you help him on the outside, he can't overset and get beat inside like he did last week against Denver. But I like the progress. Cooper Beebe, he's a work in progress, but he's a second-year player out of Kansas State. He's coming off a 6-game absence. And Brock Hoffman, number 67, really played well. So it's a real positive to have 2 centers with a veteran quarterback like Prescott. Really like their first-round pick, Tyler Booker, 52, out of Alabama. He has a playing style I love. How many guys would love to put on all these pads and go blasting into people? This guy loves it, man. He has a great energy about him, perfect temperament to be a right guard for the Dallas Cowboys. And Terrence Steele, he's the only guy on the front that has started every single game. So it's a good offensive line that's playing really good together. And if they can play great, like some of these former Dallas Cowboy offensive linemen, their quarterback will shred you. That's really important. For the defensive line of Arizona, there's so many names up here. You know, I don't know how I ever go out to go golf anymore. My wife is like, "Are you going to play golf with your friends?" I'm like, shit, I got to watch Arizona to see who's playing. Josh Sweat is the man. Came over from Philly. He's got 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He has more pressures than anybody on Arizona's team. He's going to rush over here against Steele. So if you're sitting at home, that's the matchup that would really bother me if I was Dallas, because I think Sweat has an arsenal of moves, and if they can get Dallas behind in the chains, he can ruin the game. They got to get help on Josh Sweat. On the other side, it's going to be a combination of guys. I see Baron Browning playing about 50% of the time. He's number 5. He's an outside linebacker in their base defense, and he has some production. He's intercepted a pass. He's got a couple sacks, but they use Zaven Collins, number 25, former linebacker, if you remember, at Tulsa, number 1 pick. He's kind of a guy looking for a home, man. I've seen him play over the guard. He's played outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Zaven Collins, 17 tackles and a sack, and Baron Browning are going to switch it up over here against Tyler Guyton on the left side. And inside, the player you got to see is Calais freaking Campbell. He's number 93. He's 39 years old. He's in his 18th season. You know, Calais Campbell, he's only playing 50% of the snaps. But which inside pass rusher has the most pressures, Jake? Calais Campbell. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. He's got 3 sacks. He's hit the quarterback more than anybody on the Cardinals. And he's got 5 tackles for loss. He came off the ball against Green Bay and made a TFL on the backside. He looked like Calais Campbell from 90. Maybe that was a little early. He looked like Calais Campbell when he was young. Dalvin Tomlinson, 94 is the nose. He's not much of a pass rusher, but he's still a good run defender. You'll see Dante Stills. He's got 10 tackles and a sack, number 55. I want to know where Darius Robinson is, number 56. He's a first-round pick. Come on, Darius. Let's go, man. It's the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. And where in the heck is this Walter Nolan at? He's missed the whole season. He's had a calf. I'm hearing he's going to play. We need Nolan and Robinson to go inside with Calais Campbell and raise hell so guys like Josh Sweat, Zaven Collins, and Baron Browning can go to work. It's going to take a hell of an effort to get to Prescott and knock him off the spot. The running back for the Cowboys, we talked about Javonte Williams and the production that he has had. Remember this, though. They're missing Miles Sanders, who got hurt. He was the backup running back who had done a real nice job. The secondary back is number 23, Jaden Blue, out of Texas. He hasn't gotten started yet. 22 carries, 65 yards. That's under 3 yards a pop. Both of these backs, I think, better be ready for number 3, blitzing off the edge somewhere, Buda Baker. They got to pick up blitzes. They got to be a big part of the help system. Their pass protection, as I said at the start of this, is as important as their production with the football. They also use a fullback, number 40, Hunter Lipke. You'll see him in there, some short yardage, goal line situations. Mike McCarthy even used him as a third down back last year. Hunter Lipke, number 40, old school. Remember Moose Johnson playing in front of Emmett? Sometimes I have flashbacks watching these two-back sets. The linebackers for Arizona, they're led by number 2, Mack Wilson. This guy comes over in free agency. I don't think I've ever seen him leave the field. He leads the Arizona Cardinals in tackles. He's missed a few tackles, but son of a bitch, the guy's got to be tired, man. He goes 100 miles an hour. He's got 6 PBUs, man. So he is a factor in zone coverage, keying the quarterback, break and drive kind of linebacker. He'll spike you in the ground, man. 53 tackles. He loves playing football. And the ex-Cincinnati Bengal, Akeem Davis Gaither, has come over and done a nice job. Now, he only plays about 70% of the plays. They do use some dime defense where just Mack Wilson will play by himself. But Akeem Davis Gaither, shit, I bet the Bengals are wondering why the hell did we let him out of here? He's wearing number 27, and those are 2 pretty good linebackers that can play in some of these open formations like 11 personnel that Brian Schottenheimer uses. You will also see Darren Hall. I saw him, number 30. He comes in as an extra linebacker. He's a DB, but when they want to get more speed on the field, they'll leave Mack Wilson in the game. They'll bring in 30 Darren Hall as a dime linebacker to match up better with tight ends and backs coming out of the backfield. The matchups on the outside will be critical. It'll be interesting to see their left corner, Will Johnson, number 0. He's the guy from Michigan who fell into the second round. Everybody was up in arms. He didn't run at the combine, whatever. He is a good young player. He wears number 0. You know how much I like that, don't you? I hate that number, but I like this player. He missed a couple games with the groin. He's got a couple passes broken up. He shows good patience. He's been a good wrap-up tackler, and he's avoided the big plays, which is pretty good for a young guy. But keep an eye on the rookie because he's going to see a couple guys that are really fucking good, man. I mean, how would you like to be a rookie corner? I don't care who you are. And you run out there, here comes CeeDee Lamb, number 88. Lamb is healthy. He's had 4 healthy games. 110, 112, 110, and 74 yards. He just needs 8 catches. This is how good he's been in 86 games. 8 more catches for CeeDee Lamb, and he passes Dez Bryant as the number 3 all-time receiver in Cowboy history. Can you name the top 2? Of course, Jason Witten and the playmaker, Michael Irvin. Whew. Man, I love Michael Irvin. Anyways, to be in that category this fast tells you how good he is. He is unbelievable after the catch. He is built like a running back. He's got great stamina, and they're going to line him up everywhere, but keep an eye on number 0. I would love to see Will Johnson meet the challenge, man. This is when you make a name for yourself, Monday Night Football against receivers like this. On the other side, I can't say enough about this George Pickens. If I had to take one receiver right now, I'd probably take Pickens. You know, they gave up a third-round draft choice to get George Pickens. I tried the same thing with the Steelers. I gave up a third-round pick for Martavis Bryant. Wah, wah, wah. Didn't work out. Then I wanted to have Antonio Brown in a worse way. I gave up a third-round pick for him too. He didn't like me either. It didn't work out. But the doggone Cowboys, they get Pickens for a third-round pick. He's got 43 catches, man, for 685 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's running all kind of routes. It's not just a 50-50 guy. He runs a slant route against Carolina, plucks it like, boom, gone, touchdown. I love the way he's playing. I said earlier, Prescott leads the league in tight window passes. Who do you think is the #1 tight window receiver in all of football, Jake? George Pickens. I mean, you could throw that ball over his head, down on the ground. He has hands like this, like suction cups. Is that a good analogy? Or a vacuum cleaner? And this guy's hands are unbelievable. He catches this sumbitch better than anybody I've ever seen. I love him. He's wearing number 3. When he lines up over here, he's going to see number 16, Max Melton. Max Melton, a young corner out of Rutgers. I've seen this guy, Clark, number 13. But you can see why Arizona's playing a lot of zone, maybe some cover too, because if it becomes a single high defense and I'm Dak Prescott, I'm looking for the rookie Johnson and I'm looking over here for Max Melton and I'm going to find out about these guys. And it's a real cool operation Dallas has. The slot receiver for the Cowboys, well, hell's bells. Who's it going to be? Kavontae Turpin is back. He's a Pro Bowl kick returner. Talk about fast. He's like a light switch. He goes over there on a jet sweep. Turpin, he's got 13 catches, 174 yards. They've handed it to him 6 times. And how about this #1 guy, Jalen Tolbert? Last week against Denver at the end of the game, a lot of you guys quit on the game. You probably went out, got some dinner. Tolbert, boom, touchdown against Riley Moss on a go ball. That guy's got 14 for 172. And over here, this Flournoy kid, he's got 14 for 182. They got 3 backup receivers that could be starting for a lot of teams, man. And that's no shit. I mean, they got a lot of depth, and they really keep coming at you. So when CD comes out of the game, you're like, thank God he's out. They bring in one of these guys, and it's like, whoo, man, it's a really high-impact offense. They got a lot of good skill. The tight end for the Cowboys, they use 3 of them. When they throw the ball, they throw it to Jake Ferguson. What a year he's had. You can see why they gave him the big contract in training camp. 51 grabs, only 334, 6.6 yards a catch, but he has 6 touchdowns. What happens is you get all this zone. All these people are playing on top of CD and Pickens, and here's Ferguson, 6, 8, 9, 5, 7, 6 touchdowns. What a pain in the ass Ferguson is. Prescott did have an interception thrown at the Ferguson last week against Denver, cover 2 man. I thought Ferguson could have shook that guy off a little bit more, but he's been really, really good. They use this Brevin Spanford guy, number 88. Brevin Spanford. I love that name. He's 87. He comes in, does a lot of dirty work in the running game, man. Whamming guys, pulling on counters, at the point of attack, sifting across. The guy's a good run player. And then they got Schoonamaker. How about that name? Schoonamaker. He had a big catch in the red zone last week. Schoonamaker has 7 grabs. Spanford has 3. It's not like they don't use him in the passing game. And for the 2 safeties, Arizona's got a couple guys playing well. Don't lose sight of Taylor Demerson, number 42. This guy's a good young player, man. Taylor Demerson. He's got 2 interceptions. He's got 33 tackles. Most of the time, he plays in the post. He plays deep. And that allows Buda Baker to shake and bake down low around the line of scrimmage. So Taylor Demerson has been pretty reliable deep. He's got some range and ball skills. And Buda Baker's a guy they like to bring around to get in the action in the briar patch. But both of those safeties will have a lot to do with negating Ferguson in the passing game. Arizona's going to have their hands full, and they're going to have to play their ass off. Hopefully Garrett Williams and Walter Nolan can come back and help, because Arizona's in for a real workout. You know, I get tired sometimes hearing these offensive coordinators get thrown under the bus by their own team. I mean, I remember when they lost to the Tennessee Titans, Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator, they've got the ball with 3 minutes left. and they're ahead 21-19. And Petzing calls running plays. Run, making Tennessee use their timeouts, trying to get a first down and end their day. Well, they run a power play on 3rd and 1. They get the first down. But number 84, Elijah Higgins, he missed at the point of attack. It might have been a 15-yard gain, but they got the first down. So they come back with an outside zone to the tight end side, and I swear, Paris Johnson, the left tackle, if he gets that block on the second level, that thing could come back for about 8 yards. But they don't get that block. And then on 2nd and 8, they ran a 96 power king, and there's my guy, number 84, Elijah Higgins, playing fullback. He misses at the point of attack, man. It could have been a hell of a play. And then on 3rd and 8, they ran a 97 F counter to the backside. They pulled the guard, they pulled Higgins, and both tight ends at the point of attack whiff. So here's the challenge. You guys want to run the ball? You got to block people. And I encourage Arizona, every guy, all hands on deck. Let's turn this thing up. It's these little details that are killing us in the 4th quarter. But let's pick it up. Okay, the Arizona Cardinal offense and the Dallas Cowboy defense. There's a lot of interesting things here for sure. Drew Petzing is the offensive coordinator of Arizona. He's in his 3rd year. Normally you see offenses go here to here and they keep getting better and better. So far this year, the Arizona offense has been a little bit sluggish. They've had the same group for the most part on the offensive line, not like they've had injuries. They've lost their top 2 backs. That hurts them. James Conner out for the season, unfortunately. Trey Benson got hurt. He won't be back for another couple weeks. That has hurt Arizona. But they've had pretty much the same receiving core. They have a Pro Bowl tight end in Trey McBride. Kyler Murray, he has missed the last 2 games, but it wasn't like he was lighting the world on fire the first 4 or 5 weeks. So Arizona's been disappointing. They're 19th in scoring, 22nd in total, 20th in rushing offense, and 23rd in pass offense. But the running game, 173 yards of it, their number 1 rusher is Kyler Murray, just running around, making plays. They're really not a top 20 rushing team. They're really in the bottom 5, if you ask me, if you take out Kyler Murray's runs. This offense, to me, has raised more questions than answers this season. I mean, I got to ask you, is Kyler Murray the guy that you want going forward? He's 38-48. His 1-loss record against the NFC West is not good. He's had some injuries. He's hurt now. And is Marvin Harrison, is he all that he's hyped up to be? Not to be negative, but when I'm watching the tape, I just see a lot of drops. I don't see the firepower that I was hoping to see, especially in your 2nd season. We got to see Harrison come to life Monday night and just jump on this Cowboys secondary with all the injuries and all the problems they have had. So who is the quarterback moving forward at Arizona? What if Jacoby Brissett lights it up? That's going to be interesting. I'm glad it's not my problem. Arizona has had very few explosive plays. It's not been a fun offense to watch. They don't have very many runs that go over 10 yards. They're at the bottom of the league. They don't get many plus 20 explosive plays in the passing game. They're at the bottom of the league. They've had to do it the long, hard way. They do get a lot of time of possession. 31 minutes and 40 seconds per game. That's 7th in the league. So they're out there a lot. They're just not making a lot of plays, chunk plays, and scoring enough points. There really hasn't been much of a running game in Arizona this season. We talked about losing James Conner, but even Conner averaged just barely 3 yards a carry when he was out there. It was all Murray scramble yards that maintained a lot of these drives. And now when you look at the running back, the go-to runner is going to be Bam Knight. That's right, Bam Knight out of North Carolina State. He has 29 carries, 102 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. Who the hell's Bam Knight? We're going to find out. And then the backup is Amari DiMercado. He wears number 31. So these are 2 obscure backs that get the opportunity of a lifetime. They need to jumpstart this Arizona run game so they can get after this 29th ranked Dallas Cowboy run defense. When I look at Arizona's passing game, everything goes through Trey McBride. You know, Trey McBride, he's had a really good year. He's got 47 catches, 421 yards, 4 touchdowns, had 2 last week against Green Bay. But he only averages 9 yards a catch. And they've targeted him 67 times. It almost looks like it's one and done to McBride at times. They're just not getting enough from this receiving core. And Marvin Harrison, as much as I get excited to watch him, number 18 has been awful quiet. 24 catches is all he has. That's 74th in the NFL. He has 396 yards receiving. That's 34th in the NFL. I'm hoping he can be number 1 sometime in his near future. I think that's the billing that he has. He's got 2 touchdown catches, and I have him for 4 drops. So it's been really helter-skelter. It's been hard to watch. He hasn't reached the true potential, I don't believe. They only have 2 receivers on this football team that have 15 or more catches. Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. Where the hell's everybody else? Zay Jones, former Raider, 12 catches, 183 yards. He's coming on, 15.2 yards a catch. And Michael Wilson, he wears 14. He's got 13 catches, 136 yards. I think, this is just me, Clay, I think Arizona walks into Dallas, has a lot of respect for the history the Cowboys have offensively, has a pretty good anticipation Dallas is going to score. Are you guys with me? Yep. Let's throw it 50 times. 50 times. Let's not feature Bam Knight. Let's not feature DeMercado yet. Let's get Marvin Harrison his AC/DC hat. Let's freaking go. Turn this shit up, man. Let's go, Arizona. We got McBride. Let's believe in Zay Jones and Michael Wilson, and let's get after Dallas in the passing game like everybody else. You guys love it? Love it. This is an opportunity, it looks like on paper, for Harrison and this Arizona receiving core to get right and do some great things and gain some confidence down the stretch. But when you look at Arizona play coming into this game, they use multiple tight ends almost 45% of the time. Trey McBride is out there. Hell, they're using Kelvin Beachum, number 68, a veteran offensive tackle. He's 35 years old. They're using him as a tight end to help in pass protection or help in the running game. Well, hell's bells. We're not going to throw it to Kelvin Beachum. Get him off the field. Let's throw it, man. Remember this hat, AC/DC. Let's get it going. But Beachum, he's played 13 plays, 19 plays, and 11 plays in the last 3 games. And according to my math, that's 43 plays. He's out there, and right now he has no catches. So if you're not throwing it to him and you're not throwing it to these running backs and you're not throwing it to the receivers, you're just throwing it to McBride, you're playing right into the Cowboys' hands on defense. I think it's really important in this game. I know the Cowboys aren't a really high-respected pass rush unit, but let me tell you, they got guys that are very dangerous. We'll get into that in a second. But the pass protection plan of Arizona's got to be scrutinized. I hope they did that during the bye week because Micah Parsons, he got 11 pressures. He had 4 sacks. One of them got called back, probably because he hit the quarterback too hard. They gave him way too many one-on-ones. They gave Parsons more one-on-one opportunities than I've ever seen. It's almost like saying, hey, Ohtani, I'm throwing you a fastball. Boom! You got to help, man. We got to get chips over here for Paris Johnson. We got to help Jonah Williams in some critical passing situations. We can't let these defensive ends get off on us and ruin our day. Jacoby Brissett, in his 2 starts, he's been really impressive to me. Forget the 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm telling you, he's been under pressure over 50% of the time. He's getting out of the trouble. He's having to make throwaways, and he's been sacked 8 times. I think he's been hit 15 times in 2 games. They got to address their protection plan, keep their quarterback clean with the same details that the Cowboys have, keeping their guy clean. Very important. Brissett is very aggressive on 3rd and long. If you look at the Green Bay game, 3rd and 17, he kept it alive. Big play to McBride. 3rd and 23, hard count, threw it over their head for a huge 40-yard gain. 3rd and 14, another conversion down the field to Marvin Harrison. So on 3rd and long, Dallas, you better not go to sleep because this guy, Brissett, He's airing it out. Really cool thing about Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator, he's got a big sideline sheet. They got a lot of plays. They got a lot of personnel groupings. They have no back sets. Brissett's always like that from the days he was at North Carolina State. Because when you spread out the defense, scramble lanes develop, and Brissett can still take you on like a running back. They'll use 13 personnel, 3 tight ends. They'll use jumbo formations with Kelvin Beachum playing tight end. They'll use 11 personnel and 12 personnel. They have it all. They use 2 back sets. They'll bring in number 45, Josiah DeGuerra. He'll sneak in the game and be a fullback. They create 2 back sets, a lot of play action passes and movement. But I think this is the game. Coming off the bye, we're going to open it up. We're going to protect our quarterback, and we're going to rip it. As John Daly said, we're going to grip it, and we're going to rip it. This Dallas Cowboy defense, you know, when you think of the Cowboy defense, you think of the doomsday defense. Chuck Howley, Leroy Jordan, Mel Renfro, Bob Lilly. Good God, they had a lot of great players. Right now, this defense is kind of the gloomsday for us defense. I mean, it's been gloomy, man. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and just pile on the negative statistics. We're not going to blame it on the owner for trading Micah Parsons. I don't even know if Micah Parsons could have saved the stuff I've seen on tape. Well, maybe he could have if he played like he did last week. Holy shit. Right now, it just seems like this defense is battling Cincinnati for who's going to have the worst statistical season in the NFL this year. It's just not been good. The sheer numbers, 31.3 points a game, 405 yards per game. You're not going to win like that. You're just not going to win. I hear they're going to make a trade before the trade deadline. You know, I've been there before. You might want to consider making a couple trades, honestly, or you got to start poaching players off of other teams' practice squads. You know, if guys aren't taking advantage of these opportunities to play, if they aren't getting better and eliminating the mistakes, you got to do whatever you got to do to find more players, different players. You know, you can blame the coaches for just about everything. But sometimes, you know, you got to look really hard at your roster and find out, are there other ways to get better? The thing I know is I know Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, and I know a lot of these coaches on this staff. They're going to keep working. They're going to keep believing in these young guys. And I'm challenging you young players. Take advantage of these reps, walk-through reps, practice reps, game reps. Problem is, Dallas has too many guys that are freaking hurt that don't practice and miss practice time. Got to eliminate the big plays. My God, you talk about the number one problem, it's guys making mistakes, and they're getting gashed. 35 runs of 10 or more yards, number one in the NFL. 8 passes of over 40 yards, number one in the NFL, and 28 passes of 20 yards or more. That's at the top of the league. You know, I used to stand down there when you have a struggling defense. You're like, can we get off the field? Shit, can we get them to third down? That's some of the problem right now. Last week at halftime, Sean Payton's Denver Broncos had 4 touchdowns, and they only punted 3 times. So they got to do a lot of things better on all 3 levels. The biggest problem with this defense is the inside of the defense. I mean, the communication, the coverage, and it starts at the back end. We've talked about the injuries they've had at safety. Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, those are your starters. Hell, both of them are out. Then you look over here at 1J Thomas. He's wearing number 2. He's got migraines. He's out for 2 weeks. Then they find Elijah Clark on their practice squad. He goes out there. He's running down the field. A rib pops out. He's out. They've lost 4 safeties. So now they got to go to Reddy Stewart, who's a rookie nickel corner playing his ass off. And they say, hey, Reddy, the emergency glass just broke. You got to go back here and play safety. That ain't fair to Matt Eberflus. That ain't fair to Reddy. That ain't fair to this defense. These safeties are all hurt, and they got to get well. I'm hoping that 1J Thomas and Donovan Wilson are back because they desperately need them. You know, I look back at the last Super Bowl champion, 1996 Dallas Cowboys. You know who the safeties were? Darren freaking Woodson, 5-time Pro Bowler. He never missed a start. The other safety was Brock Marion. Okay? He never missed a start. Marion ended up going to Miami, making a few Pro Bowls. They had great safety play. Hell, the Super Bowl MVP, Larry Brown, was at one corner. He never missed a game either. And they had another guy who was pretty good named crime something over there at the other corner. Jesus criminy! Let's get this secondary healthy, man. Let's start playing like Cowboys. Sorry for yelling. Cowboys are playing a lot of zone for obvious reasons. 78% zone. They did play more man-to-man against Washington in that victory a couple weeks ago. I would like to see them do that. Hopefully, they got enough healthy bodies to go challenge this receiving core of Arizona. They don't even throw some of these guys the ball. The other area that has really hurt Dallas is their linebackers in coverage. I mean, they have blown coverages inside. Last week, they had a 3-man rush, and there's a receiver for Denver standing right over the middle, wide open for a 20-yard gain. Man-to-man against Dallas. Nobody covered the back. He went for 70 yards. The coverage of Shamar James, Jack Sanborn, and Murray hasn't been good enough. It's been inconsistent, incomplete, and when you have breakdowns on the back end and at the intermediate level, you get gashed. The run defense hasn't been up to speed either. I've seen runners come in here. Dobbins of the Broncos had 111 yards last week. Rico Dowdle called him out. He had 183 yards for Carolina. Breece Hall had 113. Josh Jacobs had 85, 2 touchdowns. Hell's bells. They got to stop the run. They got to eliminate the passes on the back end. Call 2 or 3 coverages. That's it. But let's keep the ball in front of us. Let's let them self-destruct. Let's give our defensive line a chance. And I think if they do that, they can outscore Arizona and win some football games here down the stretch. The defensive line, they use a lot of guys, kind of like Arizona. They've got 7 different defenders that have 10 pressures or more and 1 sack. They're led by James Houston, believe it or not, the ex-Cleveland Brown. He wears number 53. He's got 3.5 sacks and 18 tackles, but he rarely plays. When he does get in the game, he makes plays. The guy I'm most excited about in Dallas is their rookie draft choice from Boston College, Donovan Ezaraku. He's number 41. Forget about the season. Just look at the last 3 games. He's got 3 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits. He got his first sack, and he forced a fumble. Ezaraku, 41, and Houston, 53. They can give these tackles of Arizona hell, man, especially if they don't get help and chip like they did against Green Bay. I like those 2 rushers. Dante Fowler, he's been a very good professional pass rusher his whole career. They got Jadeveon Clowney here, number 42. I saw that guy. What the hell's he wearing that number for? But he's out here in Dallas. They use Nealon, number 94. They use Sam Williams, number 54. They have so many different guys. It's like hell's bells. I'm never going to go golfing again. I wish they'd give Ezaraku a lot of work. I wish they'd bulk up on James Houston's work in some passing situations. Let these guys go to work. Inside, it's Odighizuwa, number 97, and it's Kenny Clark, number 95, the guy that came over from Green Bay. Clark has a sack and a half, 16 tackles. Hell, I've seen Clark rushing as a power rusher on the outside, kind of like Chris Jones. Odighizuwa, 97, he's got a sack, but it's not about the sacks. It's about stuffing the run, taking on double teams, knocking people back in the backfield, pursuing, poking the ball out. We got to have a bigger factor grade from Clark and Odighizuwa. You'll see 90 Solomon Thomas. You'll see this rookie from UCLA. Hell's bells. You'll see a lot of different guys coming and going. But the key is we got to get a couple of these guys to consistently be part of our future. And I'm hoping it's Ezaraku, and I'm hoping to see more of Houston. The offensive line for Arizona, they've been intact pretty much the whole season. Paris Johnson at left tackle. He missed a game earlier in the year, but he's healthy. He gave up a sack to Parsons in a one-on-one situation. I think he's got to do a better job on the second level in the running game. You got Adams, Froholt, and Brown. The interior 3 have been together playing for some time. And at right tackle, Jonah Williams. Just help the man out a little bit in pass protection. But these guys, I think, need a meeting the night before the game. Let's put the AC/DC hat on, man. Let's come off the ball. Let's kick some freaking ass, man. They got to get these young running backs, Bam Knight, and this guy over here, DeMercado. He's the guy that was running for the touchdown. He got stripped against Tennessee. Guy has some playmaking. Show some confidence. Give these guys some good looks. and let's pass protect our ass off. The matchups on the outside are very concerning to me if I'm a Dallas Cowboy. Right now, with the injuries and all the stuff that they've had happen, remember, Trevon Diggs is a high-paid corner. He hasn't played. He's been on IR 3 straight years. He's out of the building right now with a knee or a concussion. He's not in playing shape. He's out. We're not even going to have Diggs. I wouldn't expect to see him anytime soon. So at right corner, it's the ex-Buffalo Bill. It's Kaiir Elam. He's wearing number 20. I don't understand Elam in the running game last week. He takes 2 terrible angles, and Dobbins is just scot-free. He's got to play better in the running game. And his pass coverage needs to get better too. I mean, I got 38 targets against Elam, 24 complete for 342 yards and 3 scores. So number 20, Elam. He's been a liability in the passing game and in the running game, and they got to play better there. I do believe you might see Corey Ballantyne, the ex-Green Bay Packer. They got to get better consistency from their right corner. The left corner is going to be Deron Bland when they're in a base defense. When they go to their nickel, Deron Bland is going to come inside and play over the slot. Bland is overworked. He's playing multiple positions. He was hurt at the start of the year. He had the interception on a careless scramble play against the Commanders. But Bland, he's been targeted 32 times. He's got a 104 QBR against him. He's got the pick. He's got 35 tackles. I love him in the slot. Bland's got to play better too. I mean, this guy's got the new contract. He's one of the key figures in this Cowboys secondary for years to come. When Bland goes into the nickel spot, they're bringing in the rookie, Taquez Bridges. I don't know much about Bridges. I know this, he gave up a couple big plays last week against Denver. He's another young player. And these young guys, man, you got to take advantage of these opportunities. He's got to play better when Bland goes inside. And the safeties, hell, ask me who the safeties are going to be, Jake. How the hell do I know, man? They're all hurt. Last week, Marquise Bell, number 14, started at strong safety. He has 87 career plays in his life, and he's the starting safety against the Denver Broncos last week. The other safety was Elijah Clark, number 38, off the practice squad. He's hurt. So I'm hoping 1J Thomas comes back at free safety, number 2, from the migraines. And I'm hoping at strong safety, it's number 6, Donovan Wilson. Wilson is a stinger. When he comes around the line of scrimmage, he's a strong safety blitzer. You got to be alert for number 6. He's got 2 interceptions, 30-plus tackles. He gives them some veteran stability in the back end that they desperately need against the tight end like Trey McBride. Good God, where are they throwing the ball every play? Trey McBride. You have to assume with 67 targets that McBride is the man they're looking for, number 85, especially against the defense that has this limitation at safety with these injuries. You know, Trey McBride has 5 or more catches in every game this year. That's 7 straight games. And Mike Ditka did that, and Zach Ertz did that, and Trey McBride did that. If he catches more than 5 passes in this game, he'll be the first guy in NFL history to start the year at tight end with 5 or more catches. Not going to agree, sport, if you're with me. Take the over on McBride is what I'm saying. I really want to emphasize this runner, Bam Knight. I hope he has a hell of a night. He's a young back just getting his first opportunity. And I hope this DeMercado guy gets another shot too. But they got to be ready to pick up some blitzes because I expect Matt Eberflus, after what he's been through with all these injuries, don't be surprised. If your linebackers can't cover very well, what could you do? Blitz them, because that's kind of what Dallas needs to do. So they got to be ready to pick up some blitzes. Kenneth Murray, who came over from Tennessee, leads the Cowboys in tackles, number 59, but he had a couple really bad run fits last week against Denver. He has struggled against the pass. Shamar James has been a bright spot. He's had a lot of tackles. Boy, did he get knocked around last week on that long R.J. Harvey touchdown run. Quinn Meinertz, he knocked him head over heels. He's just got to get better in the passing game and keep working on the details. But Dallas's defense, they got a lot to prove. So does Arizona's offense. What gives? You know, one of the plays Dallas loves in 11 personnel, it's a quick pass. We call it stitch. It's stick routes by the inside receivers with hitch routes on the outside. It's a Mike McCarthy favorite way back when Aaron Rodgers and McCarthy were in Green Bay. But it's a 3-step drop. The back has aggressive protection. He checks over the ball. If it's cover 2, I'm convinced Dak Prescott will check to a running play. But if it's a single high defense, he'll work away from rotation and throw the stick or the hitch. But if you're like Washington and you come up and play man-to-man, what happens to the hitch route against man-to-man coverage, Jake? They're gone. And CeeDee Lamb, and I'm telling you, this guy Pickens, stitch. It's just a quick little play with hitches on the outside. Be careful if you play man-to-man, bump and run, because the hitches convert to fly routes. And if you play cover 2, you're going to see a little bit more Javonte Williams. Pretty cool what they let Prescott do. This is a tough one. You got to pick somebody. Both these teams need a win. Dallas playing at home. We know they're going to score a lot of points. They're exciting. But I'm going to go with Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals. They're going to wake up off this bye week. They're going to come into Dallas and win for the 4th straight time. Arizona 37, Dallas 35.